Cool guys. Well, I'm gonna as I know people will still be filing in here. Looks like Sean's jumping in. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get started here. So, guys, I've been on this big, as you guys know, I've been on this big kind of mission to get everybody in the Deal Lab more money to work with. Okay. I started my financing company, a few months ago to get 100% financing. Many of you guys are already using that financing to close deals, which is great. But we've been missing one piece to this whole puzzle because even though I can help you guys get, and again, guys, you have to have a deal, you have to submit it over to my team, and we can help you guys, take a look at each deal. Every deal is a little different. But even though I can help you guys get 100% financing for the purchase, 100% financing for the rehab, there's still one other piece that you always have to pay. And that could be the closing cost, the points, whatever. And sometimes that can be 5 or 10 grand. Sometimes that's a little less. Sometimes it's a little more. It depends on the deal size. And so I've taught you guys about deal partners that if you don't have that 5 or 10 grand, that's okay. You can find a deal partner that can maybe help you with that. But what I'm trying to do is get more liquidity in your pocket. So I brought on today, and he's got a company called. Now, let me just. I'm gonna let do most of the talking here. By the way, this guy, you guys, I'm very strict on who I introduce to my culture, and I met through somebody that used to be a guy that wholesaled a lot of deals to me in the Quad Cities. And long story short, they're working together, and I was talking to him, and he said he was working for a really good company. And so I'm like, well, that's something I'm looking for my students. And so I want to bring on. I tell you guys, it's very unusual that when I do a Zoom with someone, I'm not saying going to do this today for you guys, but he opened up his entire back end live on Zoom for me. I got to see everything. Okay. I got to see live deals being funded, success stories, like bullet point. Like he popped open his emails for me. Oh, we just got this guy 15 grand. We got this guy 22 grand. Got this guy 50 grand. Got this. Like, it was amazing, guys. He opened up live on Zoom right into his email and showed me what he was working on. Nobody's ever done that before. And so we've got coming on here. He's got a funding company where he helps you get more money through 0% business funding. Now, I'm going to let him do all the talking here, but I'm just trying to kind of set the stage here. If you don't have good credit, he helps. He's not a credit repair company, but he understands that in order to get people more credit, they got to fix some stuff. So in part of what he was showing is like, oh, I just deleted this guy's inquiry. I got this inquiry gone. I got this. So he was showing me live as it was happening in his email, in his back end, in his CRM, like inquiries being deleted. So anyway, I'm sure he's got a PowerPoint or something probably to share with us, but I tell you guys, it's really hard to impress me. And this guy, I'm impressed. Okay. So I'm hoping, he's got a service. Okay. So at the end of this, he's going to share how to do his service, but he's also got a way for you to do it yourself if you don't have the money to buy his service. So anyway, it's pretty cool. I want to go ahead and take over, and Amanda will probably be able to let you share your screen and do all that, but do your thing, man.
Yeah, 100%. And Matt, I really, really appreciate it. And a few people in the comments are saying, is anyone hearing the echoing? Just real quick, someone in the chat, just put a two if I'm still echoing. Just put a two in the or put actually put a two in the chat if you can hear me fine. Okay, no echo. Okay, cool. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, Matt, just to run off everything you said, man. I built this company from my Manhattan apartments, or didn't talk to anyone for 2 years. So I sort of built this company, I think, in a little bit of a different way. And I just thought from the end consumer of, okay, what would they want to see? So the same transparency I gave to you will be the same transparency that everyone on this call gets, because I understand you guys are all, real estate guys, buying deals, selling deals, wholesaling deals. You have a lot going on. And I appreciate you guys being here, and I don't take it for granted. So my job is to be as valuable as possible in the time that I have with you guys. And at the end of the day, let's just learn something today. Let's just be 1% better. Let's get some value out of this call. So just real quick, Matt, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen, and I know one or two people have said they're hearing an echo, but most people, I'm not hearing any echo on
Okay.
my side, and I think everybody else, it might just be that particular person. So I think they're working
Okay,
on that.
got you. And it looks like you're again behind a frozen tundra, so I'm going to give you a Wayne Gretzky quote. I like to skate to where the puck is going, not to where it's been. That's why I'm not going in present mode, because I can't see where the future slides are, and it gives me anxiety. So we're going to stay in this zone right here, so we can sort of see where we are going. But yeah, guys, I've gotten access to $1.526 million at 0% to actually, believe it or not, grow and scale my real estate business. And we're simply going to be going through the exact steps I have done to get that. And don't worry, my first slide is, why does 0% funding exist? Because I know a lot of you, I see all the comments on my Facebook and my Instagram like, why would banks give away money for 0%? I will explain it to you. Um, but the sort of the beautiful thing is, here's my background if you want to connect. There's my Instagram. There's me talking on Fox News. And then here is a funding roadmap of all the different approvals I have gotten for myself. And sort of what I was saying is, the beautiful thing is, I was my own first customer, right? I was scaling a real estate portfolio, needed access to business funding, which I'll get to in a second. So before I helped a single person fix their credit, build up their file, get access to business funding, I did this all for myself first. And then I realized, okay, there's a much larger demand for this than for my real estate service. So I sort of focused on the funding side. Um, so why does 0% funding exist? Because again, outside of me, I'd say 50% of people seeing this is like, why would a bank give away money for free? Let me explain it to you guys. So I am from upstate New York, but I've lived in New York City for the last 10 years, let's say. Where's my TD Bank card? Okay, yeah, it's right here. So I was a TD Bank customer. Okay. And yeah, and if you've ever been in New York City, you know that there's banks in every single corner, right? Chase offered me an offer in the mail, right? This old crusty card. Chase offered me an offer in the mail for $15,000 at 0%. Okay. And so I took that offer. And also, sidebar, never take an offer you get in the mail. You get put into a promotional bucket and you get much smaller approvals. But anyway, I took that approval, and before you knew it, I was at the bank. I was meeting with the tellers. I was depositing my money over there. I was, talking to all the, I think there was a cute girl that was a relationship manager. I was talking to her a lot when I was a single guy. And before you know it, I'm storing all my money at Chase Bank. So the 0% promo period is the way to get you through the door. It's the way to get you to start your relationship with that bank. But what they don't know is you can get, 50,000 from Chase Bank, $50,000 from KeyBank, $50,000 from M&T, and before you know it, you have $150,000 at 0% to grow and scale your business. Now, the second part of that, which again, a lot of the stuff I will get to, is that a lot of you guys are real estate guys. Now, I started this company because I would go into all these different banks and I'd be like, yeah, I work in real estate. I'm looking to do this, looking to do that. And I just thought, oh, this teller is very chatty with me. Oh, I must be looking good. No, she wasn't hitting on me or anything like that. She was disqualifying me, right? So even if you have the best credit of all time, you have the perfect profile, if you walk in there and you're saying the wrong things, you're not going to make it very far, or you'll get a very small approval. So that's sort of the big picture there, and why 0% funding exists. Because if they're making that bet, if they give you a 0% interest card and you store your money with them, they in a way are getting 0% interest funding from you. Let's say you store $100,000 there. They have something called fractional banking where they can lend it out at a 10x rate. So you store $100,000, guess what? They have $1 million of lending power. So that's the game they're playing. That's the way they get you into the door. In the same way, when you buy a motorcycle and you've 36 months at 0%. It's the same thing with business credit on the funding side that you can utilize to leverage your real estate portfolio. Um, Now, real quick, uh, and I sort of do this so I know sort of where everyone's at. If we have a lot of people that are in a certain zone, it might sort of when I'm talking, I'll be speaking to those people. I want to know where everyone in this call is at. It's sort of a little chart that I made up, and every single person in this call is on this graph. Even Jasmine, who's my virtual assistant, who's in the Philippines, she's a level one. I had a lady a couple weeks ago. She's like, I have a 400 credit score. I'm a zero. I'm like, lady, I made this. You are a one. You can't go lower than one. You are a level one. But again, I don't say this to be like, oh, your credit sucks and your life is ruined. I was a level one before. I had collections, late payments, derogatories, an eviction in my credit report, which I'll get to, and I was able to fix it, right? So every single person in this call is level one through six. So level one, that means you have negative items. You have incorrect personal information, inquiries, late payments, collections. Maybe you have a repossession, maybe you have a bankruptcy, maybe you can't even open up a bank account, which is called being in check systems, right? That's a level one. Level two is maybe your whole life you've paid for everything cash. You've never really prioritized your credit, which is fine. You just have a light file. You don't have a lot on there. And I'm not sure, Matt, the demographic that watches this call, even if you're in Canada or you're in Mexico or you don't have a social, we even have a program because we really try and have a bucket for everybody. We have a program for our international clients called ITIN, Individual Tax Identification Number. Even if you don't have a social, we're now able to, or not now, you've been able to do it for a while, just no one knows how to do it. You're actually able to get American business funding if your ITIN is built out the right way. And that's a whole nother topic, which we will get to. But maybe you're a level two where you just don't have a lot on your credit. I would say if you have less than five accounts, if you have less than $10,000 of personal credit card limits, you are in that zone. And again, the point of this call, I'm not just bringing this up and be like, okay, you're in a tough spot if you are a level one. Let me again, as I did with Matt and I do for everyone, let me actually show you what's behind the grill. Let me show you like some real results. So here's our, just some inquiries, for example, which I know if you guys are in real estate, you guys all have inquiries. You're buying, you're refinancing. And again, another sidebar before I share the inquiries. I can remember being in your guys' shoes, counting down the days for my inquiries to fall off because I knew that inquiries would fall off after 2 years. Right? I remember I'm like, okay, in 6 months these inquiries are going to fall off, and then I realized I got the access to the information that all your inquiries can be removed as long as the inquiry is not attached to the open account, which in your guys' case, you guys are getting mortgages, you guys are refinancing, it's never going to be attached because I'm sure you guys are looking at your credit score and you have let's say you have a mortgage from First Mortgage. The person who does the mortgage is different than the person who pulls your credit. So the person who pulls your credit is Exatus or Credco. That's never going to be the supplier of the mortgage. So any inquiries you guys have from applying for something or refinancing can all be removed. Okay, so that's the good news. But again, I show you guys this so you guys can see how real it is. And it's 11 a.m. in the morning. These are my team, firing. Look at this guy. 40 minutes ago, and we deleted all his hard inquiries. Okay. And then this is just my inquiry removal chat. We have a bankruptcy chat. We have a late payment chat. Called for Melisini Jackson. Boom. Four inquiries. Oh, deleted a collection right there. Let's go. Deleted a collection. That's good to see. Love that. Again, I could keep going. I could be here literally all day, just going through files. There's another guy, Tim, removed all his Equifax deletions, three collections, which is insane, and an inquiry on Equifax. So again, fortunately, you guys are consumers in America, and all these things can be deleted, which is great. Level three. Let's say that's sort of if you have a 720 credit score or above. That's you have more than five accounts, you have more than $10,000 of combined limits. Again, that's where you can sort of start to get access to non-doc funding, right? And the goal here, guys, it's not to get non-doc funding and put it into a rental and then you're done. The goal is to get non-doc funding. I think so I've gotten a total of 1.5 in total in business funding. About 800 was completely non-doc, where I didn't supply a single document, not a bank statement, not a tax return. I still have never provided a tax return. I still have never paid a dollar of credit card interest. But I got the $800 of funding, and the goal is, guys, to walk down the line with us is, okay, now you leverage that business funding to get bank statement loans. So after you're above about $10,000 a month in revenue, more banks start to open up in terms of they'll give you a larger line of credit. They'll give you a larger term loan. Level five, that's tax return based loans. So if you, let's say you do $1 million gross, not net, gross, banks will give you roughly 20% of that revenue. So let's say you do $1 million gross, they'll give you $200,000 in a line of credit. Now, how is it applicable for you guys? There's a new deal that comes up. Boom, $150,000 for the down payment so you can lock in the deal and you beat all those other wholesalers, right? You just have access to the liquidity. And level six is SBA lending. That's, you have several good years of taxes. You have a balance sheet. You have a cash flow statement. That's sort of you have the whole picture. But we've had several people that have started with us because we've been around for a couple years now, where they started as a level one, they then built out their credit, they then got non-doc funding, they then got bank statement funding, they then got corporate credit, they then got SBA lending. We just got a guy, his name is Jose, out of San Antonio HVAC company. We got him $500,000, and when he came to us 2.5 years ago, he had a 400 credit score. So that's sort of the full cycle. But I want to see in the chat, just put where you guys are at. One, two, three, four, five, or six. I want to know sort of where everyone's at in their credit journey. And again, level one is if you have a bunch of negative items, collections, derogatories, which is fixable. Level two is you have to build out your file. You have no negatives, but maybe you just don't have a lot on there. Level three is okay, I'm probably ready to get business funding. Maybe you have a couple inquiries, but those are removable. That's probably a 720 credit score above. Level four is you have great credit and you're doing more than $10,000 a month. Level five is one good year of taxes. Level six is a couple of good years of taxes. All right.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and we do
Yeah.
have I know we do have most everybody here is from the United States, but we do have a couple people from Canada, a couple people from Mexico. So that ITIN thing that you talked about, that
Oh,
that's
it's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
yeah.
And we just got a guy in Germany, $125,000 in 0% funding, and they don't have 30-year mortgages over there. It's like, what do you mean? And there's so many other advantages there of like if you're in another country, believe it or not, if you're spending at an Amex, and I'm not like a big like we can talk about flights and flying for free and stuff like that, but you get 8x more points in just spending in America than you do spending in Germany.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, we got a bunch of ballers in here, Matt. Sharon says I'm
Yeah.
a four. 210 Margarita says I'm a three. Claire's a three. Henry's a four. Jim's a four. Love it. So I'm talking to like the serious business owners. This is great. There's
Yeah, we
there's some
got
level
just
one. Yeah.
just yeah,
Go ahead.
just so you know, in this group, we have several seven-figure wholesalers. Whether they're all on right now, I don't know.
Hmm.
But we this group can vary from people that have never done a deal all the
Yeah.
way to people doing, 50, 100 plus 200 deals a year. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it. Okay, well let's get into it. That's great context. And I want you guys all to know I have been there. I wholesaled an 18 key hotel before. I'm gonna jump into my deals right now so you know I'm a real person. Feel if for all my pocket watchers, feel free to double check me on Zillow. But this is a deal I bought with business funding years ago. Bought it in 2019. Got it for $58,000 with a little bit of my own money, a little bit of business credit. Put in $200,000. This is before I was sort of working with Matt, so I think I probably just got lucky. Sold it for 465, and I will say I probably if I was feeling really smart, and then a year later it sold for 575. I'm like should have held on to it. Um, Here's another one. We got it for one. This is post COVID, so got it for 186. Put in some business funding, put in some renovations, sort of a blend of hard money and business funding, and I was able to make 213 on it. Um, but sort of this is and again, like before that wasn't doing too hot. There's me getting evicted to me a couple years later getting a check for $300,000. So that's the power of business credit and funding. Um, but let me go over here to sort of make this applicable, guys, so you sort of know at what point in each transaction you could do this. Like for example, for my wholesalers, let's say you need $1 million line of credit. And again, I'm not here to overpromise, but if you have a very high gross revenue, getting a large line of credit is completely doable. You got a bunch of deals coming your way at all times where, hey, you have a $50,000 deposit there, 50,000 deposit here. It adds up, right? So you want to have access to that money behind you. So level one, like I sort of said, finding the asset, right? We can help you with the line of credit. We can even help you liquidate a business credit card. Now, what does that mean? You might be thinking, okay, like this guy's talking about credit cards, but how does that really help me? everything we do, guys, is on the business side. And again, we will sort of get there in a minute, but everything we do is on the business side to where if you max out a personal card, you guys have to protect your credit score like it's your, it's your firstborn because for every 10 points your credit score is lower, on average, you pay an extra $30,000 over the course of your loan. Okay? So, the first thing is getting your score as high as humanly possible by removing inquiries, doing all that. But again, let's say you need to find an asset. Let's say you're, buying a property or a wholesaler. We can help you with that line of credit that can be used on down payments and deposits. Or we can help you liquidate a credit card. We have a few different liquidators in my group where again, you don't want to have someone you don't trust or isn't vetted to where they help you get the money off the card and they take the cash and they run off in the sunset. We have 5 or 6 guys that we've worked with that help get the money off the card, send it back to you in the form of a bank check. That way you can have the money cash if you need it cash for a closing or something like that. And again, if you don't have this, the line of credit or liquidation, you might not have the capital to pay for the asset. Number two, applying for the asset. You're going to get an inquiry. There's going to be a credit score consideration. Like I just said, for every 10 points your credit score is lower, on average, that's an extra $30,000 over the course of your loan. You want to have your score as high as humanly possible. Obviously, number one, I'm sure Matt talks about it, is buying right. But the second thing is making sure the debt that you're locking in. Remember, guys, for 30 years, you want to have that score as high as possible because that's the credit score precedent you're sort of setting for the rest of your term. And then again, if you don't, you might have a higher interest rate or you might have a bunch of credit inquiries. And again, for all my real estate guys watching this, they come to me all the time. And again, I'll go back over to the chat here. Oh, look at that. Four notifications since I last looked at this chat 5 minutes ago. I mean, these guys are just hammering this at all times. There's another guy. I'm sure this could be someone from this chat. Look at that. Call Experian for Oswaldo Thomas. We deleted all hard inquiries from his Experian profile. Wintrust Mortgage, Rocket Mortgage. So this is a real estate, investor just like you guys. But again, all this stuff is fixable. Even if it's you have a student loan or that went on the auto pay and you forgot about it, or again, same with a mortgage. You had a 30-day that flipped over, you have 30-day late because you forgot to, switch on to auto pay. Stuff is all fixable, really. Um, Number three, closing on the asset. You're going to need, the money for the closing costs. Again, we can help you with either the closing costs or the liquidation of the card. Like Matt sort of said, he sort of has you covered from that 100% financing role. But let's say you take a hard money loan and you close on the asset. You just put down, Matt, what's a typical amount someone would put down, you'd say, on an asset from one of your students?
Depending on the size of the deal, if we
Of
cover
course.
100, you're talking 5 grand, 10 grand.
Okay, yeah. So let's say you put down a bunch of money to close the asset. Let's say you're making an Airbnb or you got to renovate it. Well, guess what? You got to come up with the $50,000, $75,000 to get the construction draw sent to you,
Yep.
or maybe you need to buy money for the furniture for the Airbnb. That's sort of where we come in. We're the unsecured 0% side to where, hey, you borrow this money. Let's say we get you $100,000 at 0%, 0%, by the way, which I don't talk about enough. It's crazy, but. Um, Matt, from what you've seen with your students, how quickly are they buying and then refinancing? Like, what is the cash conversion cycle? Maybe
I think if you can do it in 90 days, 120 days, that's really good. One
that's
other thing I
perfect.
want to, yeah, one
Yeah,
other thing I want to mention, Evan, to answer your question too, is if the purchase is below 50,000, we have a hard time funding that
right.
because there's not enough money, not a lot of meat on the bone. So that's
Correct.
where, if you're in a market where it's really cheap houses, like I buy a lot of houses for 50,000 and less, this really comes in handy because you can't always get a hard money loan or a bank loan on that.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, like full circle, like I have a deal going on right now. Literally a guy knew I had access to capital. I'm not really in the market right now to buy because I'm focused on this business, but he sent it over to me. He's like, yo, it's gonna foreclose. I know you can close. I know you have the lines of credit. The ARV is like $500,000 right now. Present value is 250. I'll trade it to you for 150. We're just gonna lose the property if you don't buy it. So I got it for 150, closed on it, doing like 50 to $60,000 of renovations, and then we'll, refinance and create $150,000 worth of equity just because I had access to that line of credit. Um, so yeah, so working on the asset, And then again, refinancing the asset. Again, you want to make sure your credit score is high as humanly possible, whether it's a DSCR loan or just a primary residence loan, because you want to get the best rate. And the unfortunate reality I see so many people run into is, look, maybe because you guys are working with Matt, that renovations actually get done on time and within budget. But when I was doing it, I would usually go above budget and spend a little bit more time. However, the issue with that is a lot of people put it on their personal credit. And then because utilization is 35% of your score, or 30% of your score, your credit score goes down because utilization is up, and then you can't refinance. You're like trapped. But the beauty of this is, which again I will get to in a second, is that it's all on the business side, so it doesn't affect your personal score. One other thing I do want to show you guys, again, just from a credibility standpoint, I just see a lot of people talking about business funding that clearly just got into the game or don't really 100% know what they're talking about. They don't really have the confidence. I just always feel obligated to show you my own personal credit score so you know that, okay, this is a real person. This is an actual guy that isn't running around town, because business funders come to me all the time. They're like, "Yo, can you help me out?" And they have like a 600 credit, and I'm like, how are you teaching business and credit if you don't have you're not talking the talk? Um, so yeah, but again, as a teaching moment here, like why is um and again, like let's say for the let's say if you want to build out your credit or you want to strengthen a little bit, the breakdown of the credit, let me go back over here, is 35, 30, 15, 10, 10, which means on-time payments, utilization, diversity, inquiries. Again, there was an eviction on my credit report. That's not there anymore. There were a bunch of inquiries. That's not there anymore. So, real quick, just want to go through this a little bit of how to get your score as high as humanly possible. So, 35%, make your payments on time. If they're not timely, again, we can help you with that. Let's say there wasn't an auto pay and you need to remove that, or you have some inquiries, those can be removed. And again, if you have those late payments, I'm not here to be a yes man. I'm here to set real expectations. The CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, they have 35 days to get back to us. Some things can come off in 2 weeks. Some things can come off in 24 hours realistically. Some things will take a couple months. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a student loan, okay, that you missed a payment on. So technically, those are federally backed loans, right? Those are from the government. If you guys remember during COVID, student loans were in forbearance, that you didn't have to pay them at the time. So if you, let's say you're watching this, you missed a student loan payment, you can have those removed, or you can have the late payment, forgiven if you're in an area with a natural disaster. People think natural disaster, they think of, they think of the wildfires in California, they think of the floods in North Carolina. However, I'm in Clearwater, Florida right now. It's kind of windy a couple days ago. That's probably seen as a natural disaster. It's a level one, right? It's not a level six, the ones that you guys always think about. But even if it's a very small natural disaster, you can still cite those things to remove those items off your credit report. There's another thing called the verification method. Let's say you have a late payment on an auto loan or something like that, and you go to dispute it, and then the bank's like, "Yeah, no, we can verify that this is a real payment, that you missed it." That's then called the verification trap. It's like almost me like saying, if I'm like, "Okay, I date Jennifer Lopez," they're okay, prove it. If I can't prove that I date Jennifer Lopez, if I can't prove that you have missed that late payment, then you can remove that item off your credit report. Again, you got to think about it. If you're buying a car off a lot from some random guy, he probably doesn't have all those late payments, saved in the most secure spot. So a lot of this stuff, again, can be removed off your credit report. A couple other things. Now, like I said, credit use. None of this stuff, like you see all my personal cards, I don't use these cards at all. Even for personal expenses, I put them on the business side and I just keep track. Okay, that wasn't a business expense. I can't write that off of my taxes. But the thing about personal credit is, again, once you use these cards, this percentage goes up, your score goes down. And another fact is that for all interest on the personal side, you can't even write it off. So let's say you are paying interest in on the business side, that's the only tax deductible thing. If it's personal credit card interest, it's not tax deductible. Um, so let's run back over here. So that is the high level there on sort of how it can be applied. I'm sort of going to go through like all the actual advantage of business funding, but I just want to take a second. Does anyone have any questions? I know this is a lot of information. Matt, do you have any questions? Are you seeing any questions in the chat that I can answer?
Um, well, do you want to save? I don't know exactly how many slides you have for sure. Do you want to
Yeah.
save the questions to the end? That's
Yeah,
what
we
I
can.
typically do. And if
Yeah.
you don't want to do it that way, we can answer questions now. Lori just came up with a question, so it's up to you if you want to answer it
I'll,
or if
I'll
you.
answer that and I'll keep going. Yeah, I know I get excited and I kind of talk fast about this stuff. So I want to make sure I give it context because and I want to make sure guys that I'm providing solutions to problems you guys actually have. I can be talking about all this stuff and your whole group's like, yeah, we're all have so much cash. This is not useful for me. So Lori said, your credit age is 6 years, 9 months. It's fair. What is a good credit age? Excellent credit age. When I refinance a loan, it started the credit age over. So, Lori, I would say, and I don't say this to brag or flex, I'll jump over here. So, I have gotten access to more business funding than literally anyone I've ever met in my life. So, it's not affecting me that much in terms of the age of my credit. Um, and there's a lot of other things that other business funders will say is you want to have a virtual address, you want to use authorized users. A lot of that stuff is baloney, and I'll get there. But I would say in terms of my age, yeah, I'm 31 years old. I'm a little bit younger. It's fair, but as long as your credit age is greater than 2.5, 3 years, you will be fine. Now, in terms of your age, how you can increase your age, let's go there for a second. Maybe there's a couple people on here with younger credit age. There is something called an authorized user where you can add them onto your credit, and it will increase your credit age. For example, and again, for all my real estate people, we actually have. So let's say, so I'll go myself first. So credit age. So I actually approached my father, and this is when I was first building out my credit. And I'm like, hey dad, you're obviously older than me. Can you add me to your credit card? I don't want to have access to it. I don't ship it to me. I just want to inherit your age. So I was able to get a 20-year card and a 17-year card that immediately added a bunch of years onto my credit. Now, personally, that Discover, that is my first card that I actually have. These are simply authorized users. Now, who you don't want to do an authorized user with is Amex because American Express will report your age from the time that you get it. So let's say you go as an authorized user on Amex, it will say your credit age is 1 month old. Every other card, you'll get 20 years, you'll get 17 years. Now you might be thinking, oh, I don't know anyone with good credit. I don't know anyone that has an old credit card. We actually have, let's say it's a short-term fix. Let's say you're about to refinance or you're about to buy a house. You just want your credit score as high as possible. We actually sell authorized users in our chat. And it's not just again, we're very, very in this game. It's not like authorizedtradelines.com. It's literally, it's actually crazy. We had a guy who joined our inner circle and he was like, yeah, he was an Asian guy. He was like, me and all my family, we all went to law school in the early 2000s, didn't have a lot of money, put our sort of our college journey on credit cards. And that was 20 years ago. Now we have all these old accounts that are sort of sitting around. Can I sell them to you? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So in our inner circle, we have a guy is a lawyer out of Houston. He's got like 60, 70 cards that you can just buy to add onto your credit. Of course, there's a fee associated with it, but he's an individual guy that I trust. Again, that can be you can inherit some of his cards and add them onto your credit to increase your age. So, Lori, I hope that answered your question. Now, another thing, guys. Let's say, and I'm trying to make this information as applicable as possible. Let's say you rent, like I rent, for example, and you're trying to build out your credit. You can actually add all your rent payments onto your credit report. Okay, and how you guys can leverage this. Let's say you guys have a tenant that, oh, I can't move out because my credit stinks or whatever, or you just want to give them an advantage to pay their rent on time. Hey, pay your rent on time. I will make sure I report all your credit. I will make sure I report. Hang on, give me 2 seconds, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Hang on. There's someone at my door.
Hey guys, let's. Why he's tied up for a second. Is this stuff pretty awesome? You guys happy with this? Go into the chat real quick. Tell me what you think, because I tell you, I was very, very impressed
Oh
by
God.
everything that Evan was doing. So, they're
Sorry.
so
Oh
Evan,
well, we're
they're
we're
not.
about to get we're about to drop some gems right now. This is like the laying the foundation. It's about to get really exciting for a lot of you guys. I promise that. I promise you that. But sorry, what I was saying is, let's say you have a tenant, oh, I can't pay, or you want to give them a motivation as much as possible. Hey, make your payments on time. I'll make sure I help you get that reported onto your credit report. That way they're building credit. Or vice versa. Let's say you're a tenant, you're renting. You can also report that onto your credit to make sure that builds out your credit, which again, something I haven't talked about, that is 10% of your credit score is sorry, is agent diversity right here.
Mhm.
Okay. Matt, you found the hidden gold mine. Thank you, Sissy Treat. Let's go. And also, by the way, guys, I always say for everyone that is listening to me, working with me, look me up online. Look at the podcast. We've been doing this for a long time. Bunch of five-star reviews. There's just like a bunch of people like coming out of nowhere. They're like, "Yeah, I can help you with business funding." They don't have the relationships. They don't know the people. But I would say do your diligence. Talk to everybody. But this is my favorite part. This is really like the real value proposition. So sharpen your pencils, lock in here. This is cool. This is really good stuff. So, okay. Now the sort of the why business credit, why business funding, if it's not abundantly clear yet, let's run through some of this. So, like I've already talked about, number one, it doesn't affect or report to your personal side. So again, with personal credit cards, as you know, if you utilize that card with your real estate flips, your utilization goes up, your score goes down. With business funding, everything I'm doing is on the business side. Okay? So again, you'll see back to the credit score, I have a couple flips going on right now. I manage a I got logged out. I manage a about a 60 person company, a lot of cash flow coming and going that doesn't affect my personal credit at all. One little precaution here I will say is you'll see this little dip right here. I dropped 10 points, right? But over the last year, 826 at my highest, 816 at my lowest. So what you're paying for is consistency, or what you're learning here is consistency. A lot of people's credit score, I see it's like up and down and up and down because they max out a card to fix a flip, and then they pay it down, and they max it out to do something else. Everything is on the business side at 0%, so it's not going to show up in the personal side. However, teaching moment here, I am also an authorized user on one of my mom's credit cards. And if you're an authorized user on one of their cards and they max out their card and you're an authorized user, that can negatively affect you. My mom maxed out her Capital One a couple months ago to like buy a grill. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Because as a result, it dropped my score like 10 points, which main scheme of things doesn't matter. But I'm like, Mom, I'm teaching on this stuff. It looks really bad. So she paid off her card, my score went back up. So doesn't report utilization. All the limits on the business side are three times higher than the personal side. So let's say your highest personal limit is $10,000. Your business limits will probably be in like the $30,000 range. And again, just to be transparent and give you, oh, look at eight more notifications. Let's see some more deletions, guys. Oh, these are just a bunch of notifications. Okay. But let's go to the approval side. So you can sort of see, again, I want to give you like an idea of what the typical approvals are looking like. Let me just find this approval chat. Oh man.
What system is this that you're in here? Is this
This
Notion
this
or
is Slack.
Slack? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just being the owner of the company, I'm on far too many channels. But this is to give you an idea of typically what they're looking like. 10,000, 14,000, 15,000, and this is all 0%, by the way.
This is just
27,000.
this is just right now, right?
Yeah, this
Today,
is
yesterday.
yesterday. This is
Yep.
today. But keep in mind, yesterday was a bank holiday, so it was a little bit slower. So we did about $200,000 of approvals just yesterday on a bank holiday, which is you know no,
Pretty
they weren't
awesome.
even open. And this one's crazy. These are crazy. This is Elon Financial. We work with them a lot. They do 0% for 18 months. So I always like to say the bank is a person. So like that's like me going to Matt and being like, hey man, I'm gonna borrow some money from you. You don't have to pay me back. Or Matt, the deal that Matt's making to me if he's the lender is, yeah, you don't have to pay me back until July of 2027. That's how bad the banks want to work with you, right? I always say
Pretty
that the
awesome.
bank is a person. But this is sort of the one that gets me the most excited because it's the most it's just crazy. So I went through, you can remove the inquiries, higher limits, rewards and cash back, right? So, and again, just another sidebar. So you can fly for free. I haven't paid for a flight since COVID because let's say you're using the money on the renovations, that gets added into points. And there's a guy in my inner circle who teaches every Monday on how to transfer the flights here, how to transfer the points here to maximize the points. I just see the points in my my on my account and I use them and I don't pay for flights. But there is a way to maximize it even more that is available. But free flights, you'll never pay for a flight. So if you fly more than one time a year, this is completely in your best interest. Um, but let me go back. Let me go back over here. This thing right here, ability to balance transfer to other 0% business credit cards. And I really want you guys to understand this point. So if you're like a guy that works with us, and let's say you got $32,000 from Chase, or you got $45,000 from Chase, I want to put that in perspective for you guys. So, and this is truly what I do. Like this is I'm talking about my own business credit profile. So remember, I told you in the beginning of this call that I got access to $15,000 from Chase, right? And this old rusty card, right? Um, $50,000 from Chase. The bank is a person. If I borrow money from Matt and I'm like, hey man, let me borrow $15,000 and I borrow from him and I pay him back and I make my obligations and everything's okay, he will probably more likely in the future, if I'm like, hey, let me have $30,000, he will let me borrow it, right? It's the same thing with a bank, right? So I first borrowed $15,000 with Chase, and this was before I was aware of credit. It was $15,000 on the business side. So I can remember thinking, oh my God, like there's must be an error. It's not showing up my personal credit. This is insane. I can actually use this money. So again, I maxed it out. $15,000. I was a real estate agent at the time, maxed it out to $15,000. And it sat for like that for a year. And at the end of that year, I paid it down to zero. Okay. So I went back to Chase. I was getting a little bit more familiar with banking. I was like, hey, I'd like to borrow $30,000. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I borrowed $30,000. Now here's the kicker. The previous card, that is no longer at 0%. Okay, that is no longer at 0%. It's like 15 or 20%. So I don't use that card anymore. I don't want to use 15 to 20% money. I don't, it's not, doesn't interest me. So I transferred the limit from this card to the next card. So the previous card, I don't use it anymore. The next card, I have $30,000 at 0%. I transfer that limit from the previous card. So 30 plus 15, I now have $45,000 at 0%. Okay? I now have $45,000 for a year for free. Again, max out the card, spend it on renovations, spend it on this, spend it on that. And I don't care that the card is maxed out because it's on the business side. Okay? So it's sitting there for a year, $45,000 for free. At the end of the year, and the way it sort of happened is it's right around, I've always gotten these cards right around January, and it's a 12 month at 0%. So by the end of the year, I know I have to pay it off. So right around Christmas, again, $45,000, I pay it down to zero. Okay? I then go back to Chase. Hey, I'd like to borrow some more money. This brings me to last year. I borrowed $25,000 at 0%. Okay? But what did I do? Because now that previous card is useless to me because I've ran through the 0% promo period, I transfer that $45,000 to the next card. So now I have $70,000 for a year for free. Okay?
So you're
I'm just,
transferring you're
yeah,
transferring not the balance but the limit.
the limit.
Yes,
Exactly. Exactly.
everybody catch that. He didn't put the 25 grand, he didn't spend the 25 grand. He moved the limit to the 0% card. So now he has 0% for the whole amount for this previous card and his new card.
Correct. And where I'm currently at now in the year of 2026, I have a new card coming in the mail. This is the old $75,000 at 0%. I transfer the limit to the next card. Now for this year, I have $115,000 for a year for free.
That's
And
pretty sweet.
I just keep rolling it down the road. And that's how I've truly gotten to $1.5 million is that, let me see if I can find a screenshot of all the approvals. Is again, um, yeah, again, you'll see here. Oh, that's actually the wrong screenshot. Let me find a screenshot. Yeah, this should do it. You'll see here these limits, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, because I've moved the limits all down to this card, and this screenshot's about a month old. So again, you're building a relationship with these banks.
Mm.
And again, you'll sort of see towards the bottom, it's not a perfect unison, is that when I first started, 2023, 10,000, 25, 30,000, pretty good approvals. But now I'm sort of in like a level four where you'll notice the approvals are a lot bigger, 70, 100, 100, 100. So because I've built a relationship with these banks, okay? So that's
Hmm.
really the value is you'll have access is when you get that first approval, you're like setting the precedent. So the next year you can go back and you don't even need me at that point. You've already built a relationship. You can go back to them and get 25,000 and people are like, "Okay, how do you transfer the limit?" You call the number on the back of the card and some Scottish virtual assistant I spoke to yesterday said, "Yeah, sure, mate. Sure, let's move it on over. Just give me a 5-star review." So that's really the beauty of it. And maybe there's some people watching this call and you're like, "Oh man, like I got a 0% interest card and my renovation took a little bit longer or this took a little bit longer and I ran through the promo period." There's a solution for that as well. So you can actually balance transfer as well. So limit. So what I'm doing is limit transferring, and I know this can get confusing. So limit transferring is transferring the limit of the card, but you can also balance transfer. So Elon Financial, what they offer is, let's say you have a card that you ran through the promo period and now you're paying 30% interest. We can actually balance transfer. We can get you a $50,000 approval, and that credit card, you can write a check off that credit card. I think the fee is like 2%, and that credit card can pay off your balance on that other card. So a lot of my job, honestly, guys, is sort of playing like financial Jenga of moving the money around to where, okay, this is expired on the business side. Let's get you business funding at 0%. So we at least prolong you on 0%. Okay, you've debt on the personal side. Well, you still qualify for a personal loan. Let's do that because the term is a lot longer. And, let's say you have high utilization on the personal side. With that, it's a 1-year term and the rate is 25%. Well, a personal loan is a 5-year term and the rate is 8%. And the utilization doesn't hurt you. So let's move that over to a personal loan. Let's pay down your personal credit card debt, and then we can refinance that with a 0% business card. So it's really sort of, just sort of finding your situations and seeing how we can work with you guys. Um, Now we're gonna keep going. Oh shoot, we only have 10 minutes.
No, but no. By the way,
Yeah.
there's no hard stop. I mean, if
Hmm.
people at 11, I typically go to an hour and 15. But if you go over, it doesn't matter. People can bounce out when they want, if they
Okay.
choose to. But we do record this, so everybody here will have access to even the recording if they do have an appointment or something they have to miss.
Cool. Guys, put a one in the chat if that was helpful. I haven't had breakfast yet, so that'll be my breakfast. I'll eat once for breakfast. One. Okay, cool. Awesome. I know it would be a guess, but approximate amount of 0% funding I could get based on my criteria: 820, 840 score, 4 personal credit cards, no balances. Yeah, Sean, I mean, you are killing it for sure. You are killing it. But this is, and again, if I was just some normal guy or some other business funder, I'd be like, yeah, we can get you $250,000. This is what makes me different. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but I mean, again, like I really invest in my business. I really, really, you know, I'm all in on this, and I'll tell you what I mean. Again, I will show you what I mean, and I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here. So, I mean, from the person who said that was Sean. I mean, you have a great credit score. You're crushing. But this is sort of the difference with business funding, with business credit. It is unsecured, meaning that with a mortgage, if you don't pay, they can foreclose in the house. With real estate, obviously, they can foreclose on it. With a car, if you don't pay, they can repossess. This is something that I pay over $3,000 a month for. I think I sort of impressed Matt when I showed him his credit report. And again, I'm gonna pull my own report so I'm not incriminating anybody. Um, but um, this is essentially everything about you. Your height, your weight. I was able to pull up all the boats that Matt owned, any car you've owned, any time you've ever been tax delinquent. And by the way, you guys are learning from an incredible guy. Matt's got a squeaky clean record. Anytime you've ever gotten a speeding ticket, anyone you've ever been associated with, any address you've ever been connected to. And why this matters is because there's a guy I follow all the time. His name is Matt Cox. He's a guy. He's a criminal commentator. There's a lot of people right now that are, believe it or not, stealing the identities of homeless people and taking out credit cards in their name, right? But they're probably getting very small limits because of LexisNexis. LexisNexis, it's here. It is a collection of data, And their whole thing is to verify that you are who you say you are. They're looking at the banking risk. The only people that have access to this are banks, private investigators, and civilians who've gone through a 12-month process of interviewing and talking to different people and getting their credentials, which is me, right? So I'll give you an example. I'll pull up my own credit report so you can sort of see what that looks like. Because again, this stuff, oh, I gotta update my primary phone number. Okay, 518. Let me just do this quick. Okay, save. Um, oh my, look at that. I'm a user in this, and it's like asking me for all these verifications. Let me just jump
That's
over
how
here
that
quick.
always works out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Sorry. But again, and I want you guys, I want to be clear. Anyone who works with us gets access to your own. Um, But again, I'm showing this to you for a reason. I guess I'll give you an example. We had a guy come to us like a Sean like figure. He had a great credit score, an 820, 830, and he got denied from other funding. And he came to us, and about 50% of other people that work with us have come from their funding company. And I couldn't figure it out either because he had a great credit score. And his name was what was it? I think his name was Sean. No, no, he wasn't that. Sean is who I'm talking about. His name was Justin, and I couldn't figure it out either. So I got his information. I looked him up. I'm like, Justin, who's Cedric? Who's Cedric? He's like, oh, that's my ex-business partner. He died 5 years ago. I'm like, okay, well, on the it says that Cedric is the owner of your company. So do you think the
Mm.
bank is going to give funding to a dead person? They are not, right? They are not. And we're able to fix his LexisNexis, change his address, redo the data sources, and he was able to get like $150,000 at 0%. So like, I will pull up my own so you can sort of see what this looks like, right? So this is one of my LLCs, Smart Links Business Report. And this is stuff that you truly in this life is like everyone can have everything. If I want a Lambo, I can go rent one. If I want to get on a yacht, I can rent one. The blue check on Instagram, everyone has it now. But like this information is very important that you guys have so you can actually see how the bank sees you, right? So, like, for example, business evidence, low risk, meaning that there's a low risk that I'm a fraudulent person, right? Why is that? I have a high source of documents. I have an established business. I have recent business activity. Business risk. This is more the economics of the business, okay? So there's something called the NAICS code. For example, if you made your LLC and you said, I'm a real estate developer, that's going to put you at a high risk business risk because real estate is seen as high risk. And again, LexisNexis doesn't make this data up. It is a collection of data sources. So, for example, they got my information from I bought a property under this LLC. They got it from my Experian business data. They got it from Real Properties. They got it from other directories. They got it from Experian itself. So it's like a collection of data that it's getting from other sources that creates it's sort of a syndication that creates which is again like this report right here is the difference of you getting $100,000 or you getting $0. Because let's say you have the wrong address on here, or you have the wrong NAICS code on here, or your annual revenue is incorrect, right? A lot of this stuff really, really matters because this is what the bank looks like. This is what the bank looks at. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
So that is the high level there. Okay. And I'm sure we'll revisit that. Um, and I'm going to offer because they usually don't go that in depth, but I can tell the people on this call are rather sophisticated. I'm going to regret saying this, but I'll say anyone that works with us, we will give you your for free. Which, to be honest, I'm the only one who has, so it's just a lot of work for me. But we will make sure we get you your. Um, but yeah, so back over here. So sort of the 6 steps to get you ready for funding. We're going to optimize your personal credit. That's removing previous addresses, removing inquiries, all that stuff. Make sure your LLC is compliant. We've had people, come from other funding companies that got denied because they didn't pay their $9 biannual renewal fee. We want to make sure your business information is correct and congruent. Build a strategic plan before the applications. Build a relationship with the right banks, and then apply. Now, let's take another example. Again, like you might think, okay, why do we exist? And I hope I've shown you why, the value that we sort of present. When you go into a bank, I guess I'll go a little story about this guy. We had this guy, Larry. I always think of him. I worked with him probably a year and a half ago. I was still taking sales calls at that time, and he was super excited. He was going to work with us, and he at the last minute he's like, I got to talk to my wife or the tooth fairy or whatever. He couldn't. We didn't end up working together, and he came back to me like a month later, and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, Lair, let's go, man. And I go to onboard him. I collect all his documents, and I see he has an inquiry from TD Bank, and I know I could have got him $100,000 from TD Bank, but he went directly. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
it's all good. And I'm like, hey, man, did you go to TD Bank directly? He's like, yeah, I did. You know, I was impatient. I'm like, yeah, man, like now I really can't help you. Like the toothpaste is out of the tube. Um, because like if he went, he's probably saying all the wrong things, met with the wrong tellers, didn't have the right relationships. Like if we go back to that bank, it's like a completely different thing. It's a completely different story. That's like if I borrow, again, the bank is a person. If I borrow money from Matt, I asked money for him a month ago and I come back a month later, completely different story and narrative. It's like, what are you talking about? What happened to last month? Because everything you do is on a recorded line. Okay.
Yeah, one
Um,
thing I want to mention,
yeah.
guys, one thing I want to mention about that, I'm pretty good at this stuff too. I've gotten a lot of unsecured credit over the years.
Mm, you said
One thing
that.
I will mention, one question I asked Evan when we were talking the first time is I said, do you have specific relationships at these banks? Because the stuff you're showing me is not normal. And he said, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's using that special relationship to be able to do things that you wouldn't or I wouldn't be able to do by ourselves.
No, truly, man. I mean, and it even goes even further on that point. Thank you for bringing that up, Matt. Is that I have been doing this for a while, and people know we do good business. It's not just my relationship with you guys; it's my relationship with the bank, with the relationship managers. If I'm submitting a bunch of applications and in 6 months there's a bunch of defaults, guess what? That relationship manager isn't going to work with me very long. They know I put everyone through the LexisNexis. They know that, and again, you have to think from a banking perspective. They're paid, that $200-300 for each application. They are paid on usage on that card. So there are a lot of business funders out there, but again, they're not going the extra mile like this. They're not removing the inquiries. They're not going pulling your LexisNexis. So I was fortunate enough to I sort of have a group now that works along with me that I met about a year and a half ago, and this guy was actually my relationship manager, and I just met him I ran back into him at a party, and I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, and this is before I knew who I knew I was talking to, and I'm like, he was like, yeah, I used to be a relationship manager at Chase, and his application said, or his name said RJ. And I'm like, dude, by any chance is your name Ratanjan? He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, dude, you were my relationship manager. So that was years ago. Now, sort of, we have a culmination of people where I had met his business partner a couple months ago, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm at this bank now. Where do you want me to work next?" He will meet all the relationship managers at that bank, meet everyone he needs to meet, and then go to the next bank. And I sort of work with him directly as a liaison of, hey, submit this application here. Hey, this lending requirement just changed. So I have sort of fresh data points every single day. As an example. Chase Bank. I know I'm talking heavy on Chase Bank right now. Just that's what's top of mind. It used to be, my clients would put $1,000 into the bank, and then a day later you could apply. Well, now they capped that to where you need to put $2,000 in the bank account, and you need to wait 5 days. If you just apply immediately, the max approval you can get is $20,000. But if you wait 3 days, the max approval you can get is $75,000. So there's
Mm.
those small little things that like they set up, those sort of honeypots they set up to limit how much exposure you can get. And again, we have those data points. Um, and again, feel free to take a screenshot of this. I don't gatekeep. You know what? Let me get you the best screenshot
Well,
right here.
and
Yeah.
keep in mind they'll all have access to this recording as well.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
Cool.
so we keep
Cool.
these
Cool.
in the we keep these in the back office for everybody. So somebody could join the Deal Lab in 6 months and then come back to this 6 months in the past and see this and apply.
Damn, that's good stuff. That's good
Mhm.
stuff. Um, yeah, so that's the high level there. And again, I know Matt just said you already have access to that. I was speaking in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and there was a guy walked up to me and he was like, "Yo, check this out." And again, I don't think this applies to most people in this chat because a lot of you guys are already in the four and the fives, but he was a level one at the time, and he set out as his phone background. So I'm sure you love your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your dog Fluffy, but if that's your background, your phone, you'll probably have a lot more success with this. Um,
Yeah.
but Yeah, man. So to answer your point, Matt, like how have I been able to get all this funding for myself and funding for my customers? And I do want you guys to know it's not just me and two virtual assistants on this call. It's a whole organization. We have about 55 employees, and it's all we do. It's a full-time company and organization. And again, like our job is simply to get you the most funding possible. And we do it with stuff like this. Like number one, I am verifiable. When you go into my this, which, right here, double green, which is great. And there's so many people online that are like, you know what, you want to opt out this. I'm like, that is literally the worst information you could ever give somebody. Why is that? Is when you opt, they can't verify they are a real human being. So you'll never get a dollar from a bank. Okay. Um, Experience small business. Again, my Experian business credit is built out the right way. I have the correct relationships built. Accounts are seasoned. Avoiding a UCC. So another thing is my goal is in total for myself to get $3 million of business funding. And again, all these data points and all this information is in my own school community that you guys have access to. But my goal is to get $3 million of funding. Now, how am I going to do that? You'll notice at the bottom here, $100,000, 100,000, 100,000. None of these are putting a UCC on me. Now, what is a UCC? It's the same thing as getting a mortgage. A UCC is like a lien against your LLC. But if you get up to a certain amount that you're being lended, you don't get it. Like for example, M&T, they give you a UCC after $250,000. Flagstar, they give you a UCC after $250,000. So what I'm doing is getting as much funding as possible without a UCC. And then when I go for that last approval, because it's like a mortgage, you can't have more than one UCC on your LLC. So my last approval will be that like $500,000. Um, so that's sort of the big picture there of, sort of how I'm able to do this. In addition, and I'm sort of wrapping up here, guys, but in addition, you need to have the correct EIN, the correct business address, the correct merchant account, the correct NAICS code. You have to have the right online presence and the right business bank account. Uh, number two, I sort of covered. I know all the people at the banks, so I sort of have that filter going for me. And another thing, just like a teaching moment, is that people always ask me, why did banks, how do you know what banks are lending at the right time? You really just have to follow the headlines. Like I was gonna ask you guys, why did JP Morgan Chase start giving out so much money in 2022? It's because out of nowhere, Silicon Valley collapsed. Like they didn't predict that, and they got 90% of their deposits. So out of
Mm.
nowhere, they have billions and billions of dollars that just hit their books through consumer deposits. And it's like, oh my God, we have to lend this money out. To find these investment opportunities, it takes months of due diligence, stuff like that. With lending, they're okay. Let's just print more credit cards. Let's print more business credit cards. Same with Flagstar. If you see in the news, Flagstar, they're reducing their exposure to rent stabilized New York City buildings. They took off $324 million off the table. So where's that money going to show up? They have to lend it out somewhere. They're now lending out through business lines of credit and business credit cards, which again, I've gotten access to $100,000 from Flagstar. So we really also know what banks are lending at the right time. Another one to look out for in 2026, Wells Fargo. They were actually under government sanctions for the last 7 years because their employees were artificially inflating numbers. Now they don't have those government shackles anymore. Those were released at the beginning of this year, so they're starting to lend a lot more aggressively. Bank of America, they're starting to lend a lot more aggressively because they're just tired of people eating their lunch and getting beat out by Chase and Flagstar. Um, so a lot of people are like, "Oh, banks are tightening up, blah blah blah." Like I used to listen to that stuff, and then I just started focus and put the tunnel vision on. I'm like, okay, anytime that I'm spending listening to those people, it's time I'm not growing my own business and helping my customers get access to money. So that's sort of the high level there. I think you sort of now have the understanding of the full system, but implementing it can take 4 to 12 months. So I'm gonna put a link in the bio in a minute for a way to sort of get in touch with me. Um, but again, sort of what's included. Obviously, we're gonna remove all of your inquiries. We do have, I think, the biggest credit community. And it's not just, okay, here's access to all this money. It's, hey, And again, I don't want you to think you're going to show up to a party and there's no one, talking. It's like these are all questions with answers that have happened in the last 2 or 3 days. Like this is a very, very active group. Hey, what data points are working from here? Hey, who's lending here? So like all that stuff. And I know you guys are largely real estate focused, but we also it comes with a bunch of other stuff. So every Monday, we show you how to fly for free. And I'm not teaching all these classes. These are all people within my company. So every Monday, we teach you how to fly for free, how to leverage those credit card points. That's by Kyle Knapp. Every Tuesday, we show you how to get a virtual assistant. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, there's 190 million people running around the Philippines. I know how to do that. But no, this is how to get like a super high powered virtual assistant that will actually like problem solve and build your business. We have a lot of virtual assistants from Brazil, from Colombia, from South Africa, right? We show you how to do that. Every Wednesday, that's a call with me, just answering any questions you have. Every Thursday, credit repair call. Every Friday, marketing call. So that's the high level there. I also promise I'll give you guys all your. Again, I have to make sure I get your date of birth and your address and all that stuff, but I can pull it for you guys. So that is the high level there. Okay. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. Let me just make sure this is the right one. I'll do it with you guys.
I
I'll
think
do it
Amanda.
with you.
I think Amanda put a link in the chat too. She
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah. Let me just make sure it's the right link. Let me see the link Amanda put down there. Let me just grab it quick off Go High Level. Uh, 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 uh. By the way, Go High Level. Do you use Go High Level as well, Matt, or were you?
We've used it we've used a little. We built out. I got about 100 grand in, or I don't know, maybe it's 200 grand now in a Podio that we built
Right.
custom. So if I could go back in time, I'd probably go high level because I'd spend a lot less money. But I've been doing this for, we started Podio 10 years ago, or probably
No, it's
15.
all good. So number one, so I put that link in the bio. Boom, 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 boom. And this isn't gonna prompt you to check out or anything like that. I just want to stay in touch with you guys. So I'll do it with you guys. So you're gonna put in your first name, last name, okay, phone number, boom, and email. Your email, not mine, not someone else's, okay? And I'll give you the sort of the different routes you can take, okay? So first name, last name, phone number, email. I'll wait a second, make sure everyone has the link. It's in the Zoom chat. Is this more of a DIY service or
Done
DFY?
for you.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. My brain was slowing down there for a second. I'll explain, man. There's two different routes you can take in this life. There really is. So show me my options, okay? Boom. So the done for you is book a call. So if you're like, yo, I have a 720 credit score, I want to get funding, I want this done for me, book a funding call. It's right here. Okay, you'll speak to either me or a member of my team. We have times available today. Look at that. Look at that. These my guys are available in an hour and a half. So my team will answer any questions you guys have, and any further questions. I'm also happy to answer questions now as well. So this is more so if you're like, yo, I want someone to do it for me. I'm 720. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Okay. This, taking the exclusive community, this is if you're like, you know what, I want to try and do it myself. This also comes with free credit repair. So if you're a level one or you're level two and you're like, you know what, I'm not quite ready for funding. I don't want to take the plunge yet. Maybe you're antisocial and you don't want to talk to anybody. This would be the spot you join here. And again, that is that top link. So if you're a level one, you're a level two, or you want to try the DIY, go here. All that funding I was showing you, all the breakdown is here. And it's not just, hey, go to this bank. It's, hey, I got $40,000 approval. Here's the exact conversation with the relationship manager. Here's the exact data points I use. But what you don't get with this is our access to our relationship managers, all that stuff, which really makes a difference. But this is, to be clear, this is done for you credit repair, but do it yourself funding. But you
Mhm.
still get access to the community. That's all there as well.
And what was that? Are you going to cover the pricing on this stuff,
Yeah.
Evan, too?
Yeah, yeah,
I know
100%, man. I don't know.
guys, it's
Yeah.
not even very, it's not, I saw the pricing. It was like, it's not very expensive. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, I can do that. So the way we do it is we either do $500 up front or $1,000 up front. $500, and then there's a percentage. There's a higher. It's a little bit higher. That's for the people that probably want like less than like $50,000. But if you're like, yo, I want to get $250,000 at 0%, you would go the $1,000 package and then the lower percentage. So right now it's $500 and 10% or 1,000 and 7.5%, which is cheaper than a hard money loan. But again, that's a little negotiable. So that's why I say, yo, jump on a call with my team. Let's see what's going on with your file, and I'm sure Eric will work with you. Eric is Matt's friend.
Yeah, Eric Heimball. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, those are the options. And again,
And then, but
yeah,
is it 97 bucks or
that's
is it free?
97 bucks a month. 97
Okay,
bucks a month. Done
so
for.
97
Yeah,
bucks, guys, if you want to
yeah.
join that. If you decide that you want, if you're going for less than 50,000 or whatever, it's 500 bucks. And but if you and then the $1,000 is done for you. It's 1,000. And tell me if I'm butchering this, but it's 1,000 bucks. But if you go and they get you a $50,000, then they're going to charge you 7.5%. Is that right? Did I
Yeah,
say
that's
that
correct.
right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and we only
guys,
charge the money on the back end, like the $500. That's to prep your file, onboard you, remove your inquiries, give you access to the school community. You're only
mhm.
paying a percentage if you actually receive the funding. And I don't want you to think you sign up and you have to get funding. If you're like, you know what, I don't have a deal coming in right now. I don't need that funding. It's all good. What a lot of people do is they tap in, they join. They're like, okay, let me get all my bank accounts ready, so when I do have that deal, I can get the $100,000.
Yeah, so guys, basically, if you pay the 500, if you want to do everything yourself, but they do the credit repair for you, it's 97 bucks. Is that right? 97
That
for
is
that.
correct. 97 or 796 a year.
And they'll go do all the stuff, then you can go do it yourself, which is
Hmm.
just ridiculously cheap, guys.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go have them help you get the credit, you can pay $500 or 1,000. The 500, if you pay 500, you're going to pay 10% of everything that they get you. So if they get you 100 grand, they're going to charge you 10 grand. If they
Right.
get if you do the 1,000 up front and they get you 100 grand, you're going to get charged 7,500. So they're getting paid on their performance to get you more credit. Now, if you get $100,000, like explain, let's say that somebody pays the 1,000 and you get them 100 grand. Um, so that's 7,500 bucks. Tell them, like,
Right.
explain what you typically tell people, like, here's how that works.
Yeah, I mean it's you're exactly right, man. I mean you pay the percentage only when you receive the funding. But again, like to my example of, hey, I got the 50,000 with Chase. It's like you are starting on the precedent with these banks with the most funding possible. So year two, you don't have to work with me. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, oh, you have to come back to me. No, you have the precedent of the highest approval possible. You can transfer that limit to another 0% interest card. So you're sort of setting the precedent of us instead of, hey, you fumbling through an application, you getting 10,000 bucks, and it's like, okay, now you're fighting against current, trying to raise that credit limit every 3 months. It's like, no, you're going in with the highest approval possible, and then that's your precedent moving forward to stay in 0%.
Yeah. So guys, okay, so I'm gonna explain something to you. If they get you 100 grand and it costs you 7,500 bucks, that's not cheap. But what can you make with the 100 grand?
Hmm.
Most of the time when you get a loan, guys, if you go get to a hard money lender and you get a loan, you get the loan and you make some money and you pay off the loan, you flip the house and pay off the loan, and you go get a new loan, now you get charged again.
Right.
What this is you're getting charged one time and you still have the 100 grand at the end. So you can go remake
Correct.
more money again. So again, there's a cost to these guys do a great business. There's a cost to do that. The better they do for you, they keep the same percentage, but they're getting paid on performance. But you only pay that once in a year. If you just said, "Hey, Miss Chase, I got 50,000. I want to call him up on the phone. I want to apply for a credit line increase." Yep, no problem. Now it's at 75,000. You don't go back and pay them on the extra 25, right? You don't.
Correct.
You're
And
right.
and I would also say, let's say you get the 100,000, you're like, all right, I get the feel for this, I get how it goes. You could just go straight to the community and take the data points of other funding plays. But what I don't want to see happen is you just go direct with no 97, no, fees, and then you're like Larry, who you get a denial when you could have got $100,000.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So guys, I asked, I said, what are you seeing with new clients? And again, that's a tough question to answer because some people they're on all the different scale. but they do get a lot of clients between 50 and 200,000
Hmm.
bucks.
Hmm.
And that's some serious capital to go work with on buying deals. Again, if you know when you go to pay that 7,500, you're gonna pay it right against the card. Okay, so
Right.
they're gonna charge that card to pay the 7.5%, and then you're gonna go out and take that money 0%. So unshare your screen real quick, guys. I wanna explain something really important to these guys. I want you to everybody listen to me for a second. If you go out and borrow $100,000 to go do deals, and you do it where you're buying a deal and the credit card's paying you 20%, how much money do you pay on 20% for 100 grand if it takes you, let's just say it takes you 6 months to do the deal? What's that? What's the cost? $100,000 at not 0%, but just 20%. What are you paying? What is that? 20%. It'd be 10 grand. Okay. $10,000. But if you do this at 0% and you pay to get you the 100 grand at 0%, it's still 7,500 for the whole year. And you can return that money twice. Does that make sense,
Hmm.
everybody? Do the math on what it's costing you. Don't worry, don't think about the 7.5%. Think about the 0% funding and what you're saving by churning that money throughout the year. Okay, hopefully that makes
Correct.
sense for everybody. Guys, I made a lot of money with credit cards over the years. I've got a credit card that's got $100,000 limit. I got some 50,000s. Um,
And there's so many ways to negate it. It's like, okay, I know we're hyper, a lot of people are hyper focused on the fee, but it's like, okay, on all these things, you're getting credit card points. I save at least $20,000 a year on flights. Boom, that's off the table. Or,
mhm.
this money is all unsecured. A lot of people will get a HELOC. Well, guess what? It's, 3 points from the credit union, and then you're paying 8% for the fee, and then it's attached to the asset. So God forbid your property, it's not going so well. Then you lose your primary residence. I had my screen shared for this guy. Just real quick to put in perspective, his name is.
Yep.
He got funding from us about a week ago. This guy right here, where is his name? Yeah, he got $75,000 from Chase at 0%. I think in total he got about 220 from us in about a 3 week span. He's a developer in Dallas area, building from scratch. And I explained the whole thing for him. It's like, yo, man, you have that 75,000 now as the precedent. Next year, when you don't need me, even if like, let's say you use this, you flip it into a property and you pay it down to zero. Next year, when I'm not involved, let's say he gets a $10,000 approval, he transfers the limit onto that next card. That next year he'll have $85,000 for free at 0%, which we're not charging a percentage on. So that's what I mean about we're getting your precedence of your approvals as high as possible. So on the next year and the next year and the next year, you're starting as high as possible at 0%.
Let's take a few questions,
Yeah,
Evan,
let's
because I
do it,
know
man.
there's a
Yeah.
bunch down there, and I always try to answer all the questions before I bail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you can just run
Shout
through
out to
them.
Brett Ladoff. I always put Johnny Hamcheck in the as the example. It's a sort of an
Yeah,
inside joke from TikTok.
yeah. Who's running this?
Who's running? Well,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. I got a funny story, man. You will not. I'll send you this Instagram. So one of those people on his videos, like those random people,
yeah.
I hired one of them because everyone in the comments like, "Yo, this is the sales guy. This guy's super talented." I hired someone off a Johnny Hamcheck video, so I'll send
That's
you the
cool.
video. It's actually pretty crazy.
Start with favor. Start with Sean Allen. He's got a really good question.
Sean
He's
Allen.
Canadian. He's
Yeah,
can you
oh,
see him?
Canadian. Oh,
Mhm.
I know. Canadian. Where is it? I don't see Sean Allen. Okay, Sean
It
Allen.
says
Can you speak to
yeah.
what you can do for an ITIN for Canadian owning a new American corp, and what is the cost for your service? So, Sean, that is sort of a newer thing we're doing with the ITINs. So, you're sort of getting in at a good time where usually that will be a lot more expensive because it's a longer process, man. We need to truly build out your file from square one. That's more of like a 4 to 5 month process of building out your ITIN, but you're sort of getting us at an early time where we want to stack wins and testimonials to our ITIN program. There's now 3 people within my organization two from Colombia, one from the Philippines that I've sponsored to get ITINs themselves. They've learned how to do it themselves, and now they're working with people directly to build out their ITIN to get them funding. Who's great for ITIN? American Express, Chase, Citizens. So Sean, if you're an ITIN, that's great news for you because we're right now we're kind of just doing it at cost to get the testimonials. We'll work with you directly to build out your file and get you access to funding.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there was a
that's
guy
pretty
I told
crazy.
you. Yeah, yeah,
I
it
didn't.
is crazy. That's $100 million company that we're gonna build for sure.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just it's wide open.
yeah.
Um,
How long did it think it'll take you to go from 1.5 to 3 mil?
and what in revenue?
No, and
Oh,
over
and
the.
funding. It will be a lot of approvals, and there's a really good question there from Paul Powell that I'm going to answer. A really good one. Oh my God, I'm going to add so much value to your life, Powell. But probably by the end of the year, because a lot of them
Huh?
will be non-UCC, which I can probably squeeze out like 100,000 from each bank, and then I'm gonna have to go UCC, which will be probably from Flagstar. I have some insiders there, and I'll probably get 500,000 from them. But I want to
Yeah.
answer this question from Powell because it's a very good question. He says, I have two UCCs on my business credit already from TD Bank and Chase. Am I out of luck? You are not. So again, a UCC, guys, how you have to look at it, it's a lien on your business. It's the same thing as having a mortgage on your property. You can't get more than one first position mortgage. So TD Bank and Chase, so TD Bank, they put a UCC on you regardless. If you borrow $1 from them, they put a UCC on you. Believe it or not, I have a line of credit from from Chase or sorry from TD for $40,000 on an LLC I don't really use anymore. So how do you get rid of a UCC? You have to get a larger line of credit to pay that down. Now I love Chase Bank for the business credit cards, but they above $50,000 they'll put a UCC on you for a line of credit. So I don't use them for lines of credit. So Powell, how we're going to get rid of that is we're going to get you a larger line of credit and you're going to get that. Let's say you get $100,000 from Flagstar. You're going to take that $100,000 and you're going to pay off those at closing. So those UCCs get paid off at closing. Now you have a $100,000 line of credit, and now you don't have a UCC on you. You
Slick.
follow me there? And here's another thing for you for all you guys, just another like little tip. QuickBooks, believe it or not, QuickBooks has given me over $300,000. They gave me a $150,000 term loan, $70,000 line of credit and a couple different other lines of credit, all by just me processing my money through QuickBooks. So when I bill someone, I bill through QuickBooks. QuickBooks sees that and they give me a merchant cash advance. And I know when you hear that, that's like typically really bad money, that gross like 50, 60, 70%. We don't do any of that, but the merchant cash advance is 10% over the year. So it's the best possible merchant cash advance that you could get.
Mm.
Um, Actually, the line of credit is the term loan is 9%. So for anyone who's doing a lot of numbers and they want to get more lending, process your money through QuickBooks and they'll give you lines of credit. And they'll build out your business credit that way.
Mm. Let's get to
Yeah.
another couple questions here.
Yeah, I was working on getting a term loan for our business. The company is reputable, but they said 0% is not an option for me. Are these cards based off credit score or business revenue? These are based off of completely credit score. They're based off completely off credit score. So a term loan, by the way, it's never going to be at 0%. The business credit cards will be at 0% because again, the way that the bank thinks is okay, a term loan, they're just giving you cash. They're giving you whatever 100 G's. That's going to have an interest rate. But the hack sort of there is you can get 0% money and then you can liquidate it for 3%. So you're getting cash for 3%.
Hmm.
If we get 100,000, it costs me 7,500. If we pay that balance off and use that 100K 4 or 5 times throughout the year, do we get charged 75 every time we use the entire 100K? No, it's a one-time fee. That's a
Hmm.
great way to think about it, Jim. You get the 100,000, you pay it off. It's a one-time thing.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of people? Let's say that you crush it for somebody and you get them 100 grand. They pay 7,500 bucks. Do they say, "Hey, I got it from here. I'm gonna go do this myself," or they say, "Hey, you guys are just make it easy and I'm just gonna keep working with it." How does that usually work?
Yeah, that we people tend to work with us consistently because it's and I've talked about this very little, but like not only are we getting them access to the funding, we're removing their inquiries. So they could hit me up in 3 months. Hey man, I
Yeah.
just refinanced my portfolio. I got 6 inquiries from shopping around. Can you remove those? Yeah, sure, no
Yeah.
problem. I already have all your data. Which by
Do
the
you
way
do you
is yeah.
do
Go
you
ahead.
do you find that? Sorry, I got a million things
No,
going on.
no, yeah,
I'm
go, dude.
terrible
Yeah.
at
No,
interrupting, but
no, dude, run it.
um,
Yeah.
I'm like one of those guys that if I don't say it, I forget. But on the
Same.
inquiries, Experian's pretty easy to get rid of. What about
Yep.
the TransUnion and Equifax?
TransUnion is about a week. Equifax about 2 weeks.
How
But
are
again,
you?
that accurate? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, that's good. So you can still get rid of them. It just takes a little bit more
Hmm.
time. What if somebody has, I mean, there's nothing you can do if somebody has a bankruptcy, is there?
No, we remove bankruptcies pretty
Okay.
consistently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
And again,
about,
I'm not sitting about, oh yeah, join our program, it'll be gone in 35 days. That's not what
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 months, I'd say. Yeah,
What if,
yeah, go ahead.
what if somebody has, I'm just trying to shotgun a bunch of questions off the
Yeah,
top of my
go.
head, just in case. What if somebody has, what if somebody has a lot of high use on their credit cards? How do you handle that situation?
Yeah, so it's on the personal side. There's a couple different things you can do. So number one, hey, pay off your credit cards. If I get
Mhm.
if that's not an option, let's say you're it's usually a scenario where like, yo, I have some money, but I don't have it all. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
you need to know, okay, this card reports on the 7th. This card reports on the 15th. This card reports on the 21st. Use the 10,000 you have or whatever it is, put it on that card. Get that to report. Okay. Liquidate the money back off the card. Use the next, use that money again to pay off this card. Okay, take it off the card again, use it to pay off that card because the card only reports once a month. So it's very much about understanding
Oh,
uh
it's a timeline game.
yeah, understanding when the date is of when the
Hmm.
card reports.
And then you guys are going in there and finding the applying at the time that like they're all like paid off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, we
Got
got a we got a 3-day window here before this next card reports. No, honestly, that's how it happens a lot. So,
And
yeah,
then once you get the 0%, then all of a sudden now you go and you can go put that on those other three cards or whatever. And
correct.
right, I
Yeah,
got you.
or honestly, it could be a personal loan. It's okay if they have maxed out cards on a 1-year term at 25%. Hey, we can't get the business credit card yet. Let's get you a $50,000 personal loan at 7% over 5 years. So your payment's $600 a month. Let's use the rest of that cash and the rest of those cards. So those are just down to zero. And again, a personal loan doesn't have a utilization. It's not held against you in that way.
Right, got it. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. A lot of
Yeah.
little guys. The game, the credit game is just that. It's a game. It's a game.
Hmm.
It's a game, and there's a lot of rules, and those rules change over time. You know.
Correct. Correct. That's all facts. Like yeah, Citizens, that's a good one. This is $35,000 at 0%. This is my only actually maxed out card right now because the promo period ends in like 5 months. So I'll just pay that down to zero in 5 months. And then I'll go
Hmm.
back to Citizens and be like, hey, how about that one of my other LLCs? I just proved that I could pay it back. Let me get another
Yeah.
35,000 at 0%. But again, the verification is a lot easier because they know I'm real because I've spent the last 12 months paying the card off.
Hmm. I hear a lot of noise in the news right now about Amex cutting people's credit limits. I haven't seen that with mine, but have you heard? Are you hearing anything about that, or is that just noise?
Nah, yeah, like I sort of alluded to earlier, it's like the same thing with Trump saying they're going to put the fees down to 10%. People,
Yeah.
a bunch of other like business funders, oh, it's tightening up about. I'm like, I used to listen to that stuff. And then, like, for example, last June, there was some big thing, oh, Chase is making some changes, blah, blah, blah. And I listened to it for like a second, but then I'm like, no, I've been doing this long enough. I make changes based on reality. For any time I'm spending thinking about that and not acting in abundance, then I'm not getting funding approvals from my clients. If it
Love that.
changes, hey, we'll make the change then. But if I'm just focusing on headwinds and things that haven't actually happened yet, then I'm just distracting myself.
Yeah, love that. Love that thought. Well, cool guys. I don't know if we had I think we covered most of the questions here. Claire, when you transfer the limit, the original card does not close. You leave $1,000 on that.
Yeah, you
Um,
could leave it open too, because that's building business credit, believe it or not.
so Jim, I think we answered yours. The NAICS code for real estate investors. I use construction because I have a GC license, so I use a lot of the construction stuff, but I don't know if you
I
recommend
would say,
something.
Matt, you can do that because I'm sure you have a lot of money flowing through it. I would say do not do construction
Yeah.
from like a general set. Because, and again, the bank is a person. Construction seen as high risk. There,
Mm,
people have gone way over. Construction workers have ran off and they
yeah.
haven't, paid for whatever deposits. So you can do it because you've strong deposits. You've been with these banks for years. But I would generally say, like, for example, consulting is always a good one. Like, I'm talking to you
Mhm.
guys. It doesn't cost me any money to talk to you guys right now. So they like
Mhm.
consulting. I would say technical consulting. If you're in real estate, hey, property management is a lot better than some other options in real estate.
So consulting, marketing,
Yeah. Yeah, marketing
marketing.
can work. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's getting a little tired from internet gurus. A lot of people have just been telling people to do marketing for a long time. So I always try and
Yeah.
switch it up. And again, they
Yeah.
use AI. It's like we've noticed that, people are like, oh, I just want to do a super high, revenue, annual stated revenue. But now they're using AI. It's like, okay, your LLC is 6 months old. The Bureau of Statistics says for that industry, you're likely making this much money. If you're stating that you're making $2 million after 6 months, the likelihood of that being true is extremely low. So a lot of our clients have been getting larger approvals by doing smaller stated income.
Yeah, I run into that problem. If I state my actual income, then
Right.
denied.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to
They
lie
probably
and
don't
say
believe
it's
you.
lower. One last question, then we'll let guys. So Brett said one question to expand on reporting. Where can we see each card reports on which dates? That's just on their statement.
Yeah. We'll say credit reporting date.
Hmm.
Credit reporting date.
So you always pay your card guys not on the due date, but when it report like on the
Right.
date the statement ends 2 or 3 days before that.
Correct. Correct. And guys, don't pay a day of or the day before because these credit bureaus, they aren't perfect. Maybe they mess up the reporting and then we have to wait another month. Pay it
Mhm.
3 to 4 days before.
Well, cool. I appreciate it. We just went an hour and a half,
Let's
which I don't know if
go.
I've ever done on Deal Lab, but I think people are loving. Were you guys loving it? Was it good? Did you get a lot out of this? I think everybody did. So, guys, you have that link in there. If you want, click that link. You can go to the school group, or you can get a hold of Evan's team. I'm actually going to be having Evan do all this for me personally.
Let's do it.
So, we're going to be getting started with him probably next, either this week or next. So anyway, you guys, I hope you got a lot out of it. Everybody tell thank you, please, because he just crushed it for us. Getting this credit, guys, is a big deal. It's like having phantom liquidity. So appreciate you, man. You did great. We
Yeah.
all enjoyed it. So we'll be
No, I
back in
really
touch.
appreciate you having me on. Brett says Balboni Financial. Let's go. And I would say, guys, just even if you're not ready to make any steps, which is okay, I'm no pressure. Just put in your information so you're at least in our ecosystem and we can stay in touch. We also have a free group as well. Admittedly, it's a bunch of crabs in a bucket, a bunch of people like going. It's hard to maintain 20,000 random people. So just with that 97, there's a lot more of a barrier to entry. But definitely, yeah, we're happy we're here. And like I said, anyone that works with us, I will get you your personal, your business side. So there's stuff on there that you probably wouldn't even know about. There's, your previous addresses all the way back to your birth, any speeding tickets from 2002. Maybe you had some identity theft issues that you don't even know about. Like you really got to know. Very frequently, people are surprised when they get the report back of what shows up there. So that in and of itself is worth $97.
Found my 1990 my only speeding ticket, which was 1995. It's been 31 years.
95. I was 1 years old,
I've
but I was
I,
still
I've been
watching.
I've been pulled over a lot since then, so I'm pretty good at negotiating my way out of it. So,
Love
anyway,
it.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Hope you guys got a lot out of it. Evan, thanks a lot. We'll be in touch. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I'll just draw my Instagram if people want to tap in with me
Yeah,
there. And Matt, I love the content on Facebook, bro. I like those. I like the posts.
that's we have fun doing that. So,
Cool.
all
All right,
right. Well,
guys, thank you.
you guys have a good rest of your week. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll see
All
you.
right.